taking on the Knights. It's 3 p.m. from Cbus Super Stadium, so a bit of a change from what we thought they were going to play. But Baxter, it's the Raiders, your top four, Ricky's top four, versus, I guess you could almost say, the high-flying Newcastle Knights at the moment. They're both in somewhat good form. Newcastle obviously flying off the back of that win against the Melbourne Storms. It was a massive win for them. So talk to me about this Raiders squad. I guess, where do you go from now? Do you just go out there and you go, listen, lads, we're there. We've played some good football. We've played some bad football. Let's just go out there and make sure Jack White and Leaves playing the best possible football he can play.
Yeah, look, we'll touch on it with the squad. So you got Sebastian Chris, Albert Hobb-White, Jared Croker, Matthew, Tim Moko, Jordan Rapiner, Jack White, and Jamal Fogarty, Josh Papali'i, Zach Wolford, Joseph Tapani, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, Corey Horsburgh, Tom Snarling, Edmund Goulet, Pamasili Silu, AM, Nick Kodrick, Matt Frowley, Trey Mooney, Ethan Strange, so strange, UA to round out the full 1 to 22 in number order. As we're quickly talking, I looked at their run home and talk about favourable run homes. I think this is what I was talking about when I would try to say the Eels had a good run home. So we've got the Knights this week, Tigers next week. Then they're away at Storm, which is a bogey team for Storm. Then they're at home to the Dogs. Then they're at home to the Broncos. And then they finish off at Shark Park against the sliding down slippery slope Cronulla Sharks. So I really have them only losing one game.
You've got them losing one with confidence there.
Just on the back of history. So I have them winning this weekend. I'm putting my tip out there, 1 to 12. But I have them winning this week at home. Then they're playing last place. They'll win another 2 points. Then they go down to Melbourne, which is Melbourne's voodoo team, especially in Amy Park. They get the job done. Ricky sings loudly then. Then they got the Dogs at home. That's another 2 points. Then they got the Broncos able to take the loss. Then they play the slippery slope Cronulla Sharks and get another 2 points at Shark Park. So that's why I have them winning all their games bar one. So that's what 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 points they have winning with their current 28 points. The only difference is they sit at a negative 56. So they need to start winning games by a margin of around 20 points from now to the end of the season, and hopefully losing that Broncos game by 1 or even nothing and getting a draw so that your for and against stays good. But if they can flip their for and against and gain 10 points, it pushes them into a top 4 spot with 5 teams really competing for it with the 4+ Raiders at the moment. So it's good that it's all bunched up. There's not really 1 or 2 teams really out flying about with just another 2 teams behind. So it's good that it's all compressed and it makes it interesting as a fan to watch. Your thoughts on the Cronulla Sharks, the Canberra Raiders last week and moving forward?
I'll be honest. I look at their run home and I think maybe 2 of the games I could give them more than a 50% chance of winning. But I think the rest of the games are 50-50 now. This Canberra Raiders Newcastle game, I think if this was to be played in Canberra, I'd be siding with Canberra 100%.
It is.
But,
It is in Canberra.
It says Cbus.
No, I've got the Raiders playing the Knights, GIO Stadium, Canberra. And that's on the NRL site.
Who knows what the NRL system is doing right here? It's got them playing at Cbus Stadium. It's probably for the next game. But I don't know. Honestly, I look at both these teams and I look at Canberra, I look at Newcastle, and I think if you told me right now I had to go heads or tails, one of the teams to save my life, one of the teams to cost me my life, I'm probably siding with Newcastle a little bit here. I think just off the back of last week, off the back of I think it's their last 3 weeks where they've won back to back to back. They obviously took on the Bulldogs. They won 66-0. Okay, cool. Let's move past that. They beat the West Tigers, and everyone went, oh, you've just beat the bottom 2 teams. And then they backed it up by knocking off the Melbourne Storm. So a lot of people have now as kind of that dark horse moving forward behind Brisbane and Penrith. I just think something special is going on at Penrith, obviously. At Newcastle. They just lost to Penrith. They just lost to Penrith, they lost by 8. To the Roosters, they lost by 2. Dominated us from start to finish. Should have won that game comfortably. To Brisbane, they lost by 4. Those games, one other try goes another way. They're sitting on 7 games in a row where they've played decent football, and they could have potentially been on a 7-game win streak. So they do have a great squad. I'll talk through their lineup. I'll talk through their squad, and obviously I'll give my predictions. But you've got Kalen Ponga, Dominic Young, Dane Gagai, Bradman Best, Greg Marshew, Tyson Gamble, Jackson Hastings, Jacob Saifidi, Phoenix Crossland, Leo Thompson, Tyson Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, and Adam Elliott to lock the scrum. You then have Kurt Mann, Brody Jones, Jack Hembrington, and Matt Croker on the bench with an extended bench of Dylan Lucas, Anari Tuala, Simi Sasagi, Lachlan Miller, and Mr. Jack Johns in that number 22 jersey. Now, again, that changes my mind completely now, but I know this game's in Canberra. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the NRL website, but...
I'm just looking at the app and,
Like, I look at this and I go, you look at the players that are firing at the moment. Obviously, Kalen Ponga has been brilliant. I think turning down Queensland this year, he wouldn't have got picked if Reece Walsh was not suspended, but I think turning down Origin this year to focus on Newcastle has been absolutely unreal for him in Game 3. Dominic Young, I believe, is still leading the top try-scoring list at the moment. He's on fire. Bradman Best, he's made his Origin debut. He's scoring tries for fun. Greg Marshall's playing brilliant. Hastings is playing brilliant. The front pack is leading the way. It's hard to look past his team, but I also feel like I've been in this trap before where I've gone, holy fuck, Newcastle look really good. And I've been sucker punched in the face for the next 6 weeks and they've finished second last. So it is quite interesting. Obviously, the odds are quite close. It's $1.65 to $2.30. It's very close at this point of the betting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to go with the Newcastle Knights 1-12. I think the Raiders, although they can play great football, they're playing in front of their home crowd. Again, let's look at last week. Besides the last 10 minutes, they got absolutely destroyed by New Zealand. They weren't convincing against St. George Illawarra. They weren't convincing against the Gold Coast Titans. They lost to the New Zealand. We talk about lucky penalties. The NRL came out and apologized to the Roosters in that win. It should have been the Roosters' win. One of the tries should have counted. You then go back further. They only beat the West Tigers by 1 point. They beat an understrength South Sydney side by 7 points. So they still haven't convinced me. And I hope I'm wrong because I love Ricky Stewart, but I'm going to go 1-12. I'm going to lock in my prediction. Just talk to me about this Newcastle side. And then obviously you've already given your prediction of 1-12 to the Raiders, I believe.
He went 1-12. Raiders, not you. Sorry. Yeah, Dominic Young still leading the top try scorer with 17 games played with 19 tries. Second to that is Khan Pereira from the Titans, which is one. He's 100% try and score on record, 17 games, 17 tries. The only one that's really in the top 10 like that is the Hammer with 15 for 15. And the man defending his 2-time top try with Alex Johnson being at 7th, 15 tries in 18 games. But, look, as you said, they come up against the the Bulldogs, 66-0. Yeah, fair enough. Tigers, last place, whatever. Then they're at home to Newcastle, nothing to lose, win comfortably. This could be another side that makes a late appearance into the top 8. Maybe they're playing finals football away to like someone like us, or maybe they're going back down to Canberra. Who knows? It'll be a good game to watch. Being the 3 p.m. The 7:30 game. 3 p.m. game on Super Saturday. Not a sponsor, but should be one. moving forward. But you've gone 1-12 Knights. I've gone 1-12 Raiders, and we move on